The next part in our journey of the discovery of the atom was the discovery of the nucleus, and it's a story that tells us both about the about human hubris, human pride, and human ingenuity. And it starts with Thomson. Thomson had discovered the electron, and so he knew that inside matter there were little was there were electrons, and uh, he knew that matter itself was not charged, so there had to be positive charges. But he was unable to find the positive charges. So he just decided, because he had no data, that the positive charges were a pudding, just a continuum. So he had decided that matter was formed of a continuum, which is easy for a physicist to do because physicists would ignore the work of their contemporary chemists. And uh, his model is called the plum pudding model. The plums being the little electrons, and the pudding being the fictitious uniform continuity of plus charges. Okay, that's the story of human hubris. And now we get to human ingenuity, which is the work of the lab of Rutherford. And Rutherford did the following experiment. Pretty much the thinnest material you can make is gold, because you can just keep on pounding it, getting it thinner and thinner and thinner. So he made a very thin gold foil. And then he shone on it, they knew about it because radioactivity was known, alpha particles. And alpha particles are quite heavy. They're 4 grams per mole, much, much heavier than electrons. And they're charged. And what he then found was that the alpha particles most of them would go through the gold, and they would light up over here. You know, most of them would light up over here. And when I say light up over here, because surrounding the whole experiment is a fluorescent screen. A fluorescent screen sees things that hit it, and you would then equip this equipment with actually with a human, a graduate student, who would then record where all the little pings of light would appear on the fluorescent screen. So far, good. But one every 200,000 times, instead of the fluorescent screen showing up over there, Thomson discovered that the um, alpha particles were bouncing back and hitting the very back of the screen. And so, what causes something to bounce back? The alpha particle is much heavier than the electron. So think a a uh, a linebacker. That's a running back, and that's the alpha particle, and the electrons are ping pong balls. And ping pong balls, a wall of ping pong balls, isn't going to make running backs jump backwards. The only thing that's going to make a running back bounce backwards is that they run into a mountain. And so he knew that there had to be mountains inside the gold foil, which would the alpha particle would hit and was much more massive than 4 grams per mole, and therefore they would bounce back. And he called those it was they must have been small because it only happened one out of every several 100,000 times, and that thing, this charged thing, this must have been the missing charge thing, which had the plus charge, and he called it the nucleus.